Hi, I'm Josh Yenne here with Homespun Music Instruction, and this lesson is all about fingerstyle guitar. And more importantly and more specifically, it is about the most important part of fingerstyle guitar and also the hardest part of fingerstyle guitar, which is the right hand. This one is going to be all about the right hand. We're not even going to do much with the left hand. All you got to know is a few basic open chords, and everything else is going to be right in here. So you'll see on the chart, and it's labeled on every page, T is thumb, I is index, M is middle, R is ring. Very complicated, right? I sort of lean towards more of a classical style of an approach where the thumb is taking the bottom three strings, so the low E, the A string, and the D string, and the fingers are taking the top three strings. If you're using a metronome, which I would highly recommend, remember to play it as slow as you have to play it to get it right, and set the metronome to do your quarter notes. So basically set it to go with your thumb. So if we're playing this, I'm going to set my metronome to 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, number 1 says T, M, T, I. So that means I'm going to play the thumb, then I'm going to play the middle finger, then I'm going to play the thumb on that higher string, the D string, and then I'm going to play the index finger. Okay, so 1 is reading as thumb, middle, thumb, index. Pretty obvious what the last one is. The first one is thumb, ring, thumb, middle. It's going to sound like this. Okay. Now we're going to put our melody notes on the downbeats with those. So what it's going to sound like, again, over a C major chord, is going to sound like this. This is that second page of your download. It says squeeze up top because we're squeezing the thumb and the finger at the same time. Okay, our thumb is going to be doing the same thing. And now we're going to put those next to each other. Again, we're not doing anything with our left hand but playing a C major chord. Fingers where they need to be, thumb where they need to be, going between 5th string and 4th string. So what we're going to do first is we're going to play pattern 1, and then we're going to play pattern 5, and we're going to play them next to each other. So it's going to sound like this. We're using the same fingers, we're just changing the time of where the fingers are. So we have a thumb, pattern 1, then pattern 5, pattern 1. Hi, this is Josh Yenne here with Homespun, and this is part 2 of right hand training for the fingerstyle guitar. Hopefully that you have seen the first part of this series, which is going to give you the basic for what we're going to go off of today. So if you haven't done that, it might behoove you to go back and get that one and leave this one for later, because it all is going to sort of build off those exercises. So what this is about is sort of, I kind of equate it to like muscle training if you were going to do sports like lifting weights or something, or I prefer the allegory if you are a Karate Kid fan, the wax on, wax off, or paint the fence allegory. So generally, we're just focusing on the right hand. We're dumbing down the left hand completely. This is going to help any kind of fingerstyle guitar you want to do in the future. But for example, that little thing I was just playing, it's a totally nice little sound. We could play an entire song through that. I'm just playing a G and a C here. And that sounds like good old fingerstyle guitar. If we were to break that down, all we're doing is we're taking the beginning of pattern 5, which is squeezing with our middle, when we're playing the thumb. And then we're just playing pattern 1. This is 5. And then we're basically in pattern 1 here, right? We got index, thumb, middle, thumb, index. So pattern 5, and that's just pattern 1. Thumb, middle, thumb, index. We're trying to graduate to the point where it just feels like music, right? So this is super helpful, and I'll demonstrate here. So I'll do pattern 1. I'll do 2 bars each. 2. I'll just do thumb. 2 bars. I'll go back to pattern 1. literally any of the things we talked about in the first lesson, or we're talking about now, we're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, right? I'm doing the alternate bass right now. I'm going to do that first and then we'll do the static bass. If we want to put a strum inside of our fingerstyle, say we're, you know, I'll stay with pattern 1, just stay consistent. You know, say we're... Okay. Okay, here's our last thing. We're going to talk about single notes without a pick with the fingerstyle. This is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing thumb down, finger up. Basically 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now, I'm doing thumb and middle finger because that's just sort of what naturally feels good to me. Some people are going to lean more on thumb and first finger. Hi, this is Josh Yenne with Homespun Music Instruction. Nice to be here with you again today. This is the third part in our series about fingerstyle guitar, and this is a continuation from the first two. They were all about the right hand, and today we're going to pull in another little piece of our brain and bring in the left hand. And I'm going to give you some exercises of just kind of how to start getting your hands to work together. Hopefully you've gone through the first two lessons, and if you have those down pat, then we're ready to move on to this. I always say you got to dumb down one hand when you fancy up the other and vice versa. So hopefully those first two, you just have them down pat, or you're a pretty advanced player and you're pretty confident in your thumb and are just kind of looking for some things to get your left hand working with you. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to just take that top string of that pattern of notes. So got my ring finger down there holding the G, I'm killing the A. I'm going to do it one time with the sort of monotone, and then I think from there on I'm going to move to the alternating bass because we talked about that in the other videos a lot more. So here's what it's going to sound like. 55 beats per minute. 2, 3, 4. 4. 4. Okay. Get used to just having it hang out there. Is a soldier we are going to need to call on in the future. Okay. So here it is, and then of course we're going to speed this up. The other one was 1 and 2 and 3 and thumb. 1 and 2 and 3 and thumb. Okay, so if you've gone through all of these exercises in the first two videos and this one, you will see the pattern here, and the pattern is build slow, build small, combine, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so our first phrase is going to sound like this. So we're going to do it in this part of the bar though, which is important. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and... Okay, now this is kind of brain.